All right, welcome. Today we're going to showcase how to create the waist for the Lego minifigure. Let's get right to it. We're going to start a new file, new, standard IPT, and hit create. Now if your document settings are not set to millimeters, we can change them. Let's go to the top of the screen, hit tools, document settings, units, and change it to millimeters. Apply and close. Now we're ready to go. Click on the Sketch tab and we'll start a new 2D sketch. Click on the XY plane. Okay. And we're going to start out by using a 2-point center rectangle. We're going to use this because it's going to help us a lot later on when we draw the features on the top and the bottom. So let's start right at the origin. Click one time, move the mouse out, and the dimensions we want here are 14.2 by 7.87. Okay, so 14.2 by 7.87. All right, that's all we have so far. We're going to finish that sketch and extrude it out. And how far are we going to extrude it? It's going to extrude out at 2.29. Okay, so it's 3D model, extrude, 2.29. Okay. All right, good so far. Now we're going to draw the top features first, the ones that basically go into the torso or that connect this part to the torso. So click on this surface right here. We'll start a new sketch on this surface. And I'm going to do a couple things. First, I'm going to measure. Okay, so I'm going to get my line tool out. And I like using this. There's a couple ways to do it, but I like to do it this way because then the dimension will stay on there and give me a good point to reference. So I'm going to start right here in the middle of this line where it snaps green. Click it and go to the left 3.04. Okay, good so far. Grab your circle command. All right, and we're going to be drawing a circle. We need to know what the diameter is. So go to the end of this line that we just created, and we want a 2.5 millimeter circle. Okay. Now we're going to do a couple other measuring things, but I want to zoom in a little bit so that way you can see it. Excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and take this line, and I'm going to move it over from this origin, or from the center of the circle, over to the right. And how far? I just want to double check that I have it. It's 2.41. Okay, 2.41. And now grab the line tool again, and then from the end of that 2.41 line right here, where it snaps green, click it and move down 1 millimeter and make sure it's at a 90-degree angle. Okay. All right. And the reason we did that is because it's going to, this point right here that I'm pointing at currently, that's the one that's going to reference our octagon. All right. So now we're going to get the octagon tool. We're going to use the polygon tool. It's located in the drop down of the rectangle. All the way at the bottom, we see polygon. Click on it, and it probably will default to 6. We want that to be 8, and we want the first setting selected, not the second one. So we want this first circumscribed selected. All right, and then I'm going to go to the center of this circle, right, this point right here. I'm going to click one time and move the mouse out. And now I don't have to measure, I don't have to put anything because I have this reference point right here at the end of the one line, right? That's why I drew that right there. Once I match that up, I click. Okay, there's going to be a bunch of these constraints. Just hit done, and you are good to go. All right, so we're going to finish that sketch, and now we're going to extrude. Okay, and what are we going to extrude? Just the outer octagon. Do not get that inner circle. Okay, we need to know how far to extrude this at. It's going to be extruded at 4.83. 4.83. All right, looking good so far. So we need to draw in an angle. This is sliced off on the side here. If we look back at this one, just to give it a reference, right, this is at an angle here. Okay, so we're going to put that angle in. So to do that, we're going to get right to the top of the screen, hit offset from plane. And what plane do we want to reference? This one right here. Okay, so just click on that surface. We don't need to offset it at all, but I do find it helpful. It eliminates some issues. So we're going to offset it by just 1 millimeter, okay? And now it'll appear in front of the object, yep, just slightly, which is what I want. Okay, and then from here, we're going to start a new 2D sketch on this plane. And I'm going to use project geometry. And I want this line right here. Make sure this gets tricky, but make sure you have this front line, all right, as opposed to this line or this line. Make sure it's this front one. And we'll also do this top one. Okay. And what that does is it projects it onto the plane that we're working with. All right, from there, grab your line tool. And what we're going to do is we're going to start right here where it snaps green. Make sure it's the bottom of that line, snapping green. Click it. And we're going to go up and to the left a certain degree measurement, which is 8.29. So that means from this yellow line, it's 8.29. Now, what I see Inventor is measuring from the x-axis, so I simply have to add 90 degrees plus 8.29. All right, I'm going to type it in manually. That would equal 98.29. Okay, I hit Tab. Do not hit Enter. Hit Tab. And then you want to match it up so it lands right there on the end of the line. Click it. I'll finish this shape out. It's just going to be a triangular shape. Okay, even though that reference is there, let's make sure we have it. Click it there. Okay. Now we're going to finish the sketch, and we're going to extrude cut through the entire thing. So cut, and we want to go through. So that's this button right here, through all. And let's see, it looks pretty good. Hit OK, and voila. Looks good. All right. So now what we're going to do, let's get rid of this work plane. You can right click on the work plane in the model menu and then hit visibility to make it go away. All right. And what I want to do here is I want to mirror. I'm going to just copy this and bring it over to the other side. So now you're going to kind of see why we started out with a 2-point center rectangle, because we're going to mirror it across the YZ plane, which is right in the middle of this object. So it works out really nice for us. So if you're in the 3D Model tab at the top, there is a feature called Mirror. Click on Mirror. Okay. First of all, it wants to know what features. Okay, well that's this whole object right here. So I'm going to select this object. And it is in blue now, so we know that it has the object we're looking for. Now, it doesn't have the cut, so if I click on Extrusion 3 also, by holding Control, I can include that. Okay, so if you hold Control, you can select both of them. Alternatively, I could have done it like this. Right, I could just do Mirror, hold Control, and then I select Extrusion 2 and Extrusion 3. Okay, so that's the features that it's going to copy. Now it wants to know where to mirror it. Okay, so I click here, Mirror Plane, and now I've got these options, YZ, XZ, XY. You can click on any of these and it will do so without any problems. So that's flipping around the wrong way. We want the first one, the YZ plane. Okay, it gives you a preview. Hit OK, and there we go. Look at that. Saved us some time and some work. All right, so from here we're going to draw the bottom. Okay, which looks basically like this. Take a look at the side view. Okay, so let's get to it. So we're going to start a 2D sketch on the bottom. All right. And what I want to do, oh, excuse me, we're not going to start a 2D sketch on the bottom. My mistake. We're going to start a 2D sketch on this plane, the YZ plane, okay? YZ plane. And I'm just going to reorient it so it's facing this way. All right, so we need a couple things here. I'm going to need some measurements in order to accurately write where this is. Okay, so first of all, let's get the line tool, and we'll go right to the middle, right there, the origin, and we're going to go down from there 5.83. Okay, 5.83. Now, what I need to do is that I'm actually going to keep it at this orientation, is fine. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw another line from the bottom of that line. I know this seems a little bit redundant, but it's important. We're just going to draw it up at 7.12. 7.12. Okay, so let me just separate those out so you can see them better. Right, so that line ends there. That's this terminus. That's where it begins. And then we have this line from the bottom to right here. Okay, and we're going to need a circle. So I don't want to accidentally hit this line, so I'm just going to delete it. I'm going to get rid of this line. I'm going to hit delete, delete, and now I only have this one long line, 7.12. I want the midpoint. Grab your circle command, go over to that line, and find the midpoint. There it is. Snap it, click, and expand out. How far are we going? Well, that's the question, isn't it? The diameter of this object is going to be, you probably guessed, 7.12. Okay, now save us some time later on. We're going to do something over here in the model menu. Go ahead and right click it and hit copy. Okay, so right click and hit copy. I'm going to finish this sketch, and now I want to extrude, and I'm going to use the double arrow, and I want to cut, and I want it through all. Okay, and that's going to be this circle. I'm going to select it, and it cuts all the way through, just like what we want. Okay, so again, double arrow, through all, cut. Hit OK. All right, looks good. Next step, start a 2D sketch, and we're going to go with the YZ plane again. So click on that. And now in this sketch 5, go right to your model menu, right click on it and hit paste. And there's our circle right back where we want it. Let's finish that sketch. Hit 3D model, extrude. We're going to use the double arrows again. Okay, so we're going to use those double arrows again. The distance is going to be 1.5. Okay, and we're referencing this circle. Now before we hit OK, I just want to check the angle. And look at that, it's extruding out both sides at 1.5. Okay, hit OK. Looks good so far. Start another 2D sketch. We got to add some more features. We're going to use the YZ plane again. Click on that. All right, and now we're going to use the circle tool. Go to the outside of this circle, and it will show you the center. And there it is. Click on it one time. All right, the diameter for this particular circle is going to be, 2.29. Okay, 2.29. And you're not going to be able to see it, right, because it's actually internal. It's inside. It's right where that yellow line is, okay? Just for your information in case you're concerned about where it went to. All right, we need to extrude that out. Okay, so I'm going to finish the sketch. I'm going to extrude. Okay, thankfully it found the circle. We didn't have to select it. Hit the double arrow again. Double arrow, and again, we're going to do, this time we're going to do 6.86. And hit OK. All right, looking good so far. All right, now we are going to start another sketch, again on the same YZ plane. Okay, and I'm going to go with the circle command again. I'm going to try to locate that midpoint. There it is. Remember, if you just come to the outside of a circle, it'll show you the midpoint. Right there, click it one time. This is going to be a diameter of 2.02. 2.02. Okay. And it should be slightly smaller than that circle, which it is. You can see it right there, but again, it's internal. Okay. Now this particular circle, this part of the Lego is not a circle completely. It's actually cut off a little bit, so we need to indicate that. So how I'm going to do that is draw a line and measure. Get your line tool, go right to the bottom of the circle. Okay, hopefully we can get it to snap. You'll know that it's correct because the x coordinate should be 0. You can see it's dotted all the way up, that purple dotted line, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get that point, click on it on the outside of the circle, go straight up. How far? 4.05. Okay, 4.05. And now, just simply make sure you're at a perpendicular angle. Go off to this side of the circle, click it, and then come back up to the top of that line again, and click it. And I'm actually going to wireframe this for a second so you can kind of see what it looks like. There we go. Oh, not that one. All right, so you can kind of see in there right now where we have that object. All right. We're going to finish that sketch and extrude that out. Now make sure you're selecting just this and this, okay? Because it's going to produce this shape. That is the shape you're looking for. Do not include. All right, I'm actually going to select it just to show you what not to select, and then I'll cancel it out and redo it. But don't select this top part, because then it just looks like a circle, okay? So again, when you're selecting this part, just be very careful. Extrude, and make sure you click on this part and this part. That's it. Now in this menu, double arrow again, and how far are we going to extrude this one out? It's going to be 8.6, 8.6, hit enter. And there we go. Let's turn it back, go to view. I'm going to change the viewing back to simple. Okay, and there we go. Looking pretty good. I think we're all set. That's the last step. Now from here, all you have to do really is, well, you could put a color on it, but that's pretty much done. So we're going to save it. I'm going to add a color before I do. Let's do something different this time. Maybe, how about some bronze? Let's go with that. Doesn't look like bronze, but that's okay. All right, and we're finished. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you did enjoy it, and we will see you next time. Thanks.